#1 thing a human loves to do. After watching Penguin Z0 and Jeremy John's videos in full length twice and reading abhorrent comments to truly understand the human condition, I found the solution. Cry, complain, moan, and groan, bitch. You know there's a problem when you're more excited for the reviews than the movie itself. What I'm surprised about is how high both the critics and audience score were. It made me think it was a good movie and I was gonna watch it. Well, this saved me a couple bucks. I wouldn't be surprised if the rise actually used AI to write it. It seems to be becoming the new norm. Is this what we exist for now? Is there anybody out there that can rise above the hoopla of despair and phlegm? I've been watching Charles' videos for a few months now, and I've got nothing against the guy. He just happens to be a creator that spoke on the movie. But the comments are just flooded with the same opinion. I laughed so hard when they started singing. It was alarmingly worse than I thought it was. Alarmingly! Woo-hoo-hoo. Jeremy Johns, one of the few movie-related channels I subscribe to, love the guy, is another creator that spoke on the Marvels with a negative stance on it. I left a comment on Charles' video and I got the replies here.
It's the truth. It's just not a Marvel movie. It feels like a Disney parody. Because it's not a good movie? And then, dude, guy number 3 deserves a medal. Look at the worldwide box office. Whole planet is in this comment section because nobody's watching this movie.
These videos and takes baffle me, as my friends in real life had told me good things, good, exciting things about the Marvels.
I had hype before seeing it.
And I ended up really liking it. Man, I don't know if there's some sort of psychological thing or a group of personality traits that allow us to enjoy, dislike, or perceive things differently, but the internet is wired differently. Or maybe I am. So I'm here making this video because I'm tired of the things that I like getting shat on by the void. Folks, today I want to talk about the Marvels and what the hell people are unhappy about. Because as an enjoyer of the franchise and a fan of almost all of it, I do understand the criticisms that people are throwing at it. Let's get the easy stuff out the way, which is of course the cats and song. Man, I was laughing a lot during the scenes where the cats were eating up the humans. I was genuinely enjoying myself, but some people, it just seems like it's the worst thing they have seen. Which is why I mentioned the whole psychological thing earlier. You either view the material as a humorous situation, or apparently it gives you suicidal thoughts. The singing on Planet 𝙈𝙆𝘾 was something I could not believe was happening. I wasn't mad by the dynamics of communicating by song. That shit is so short to the plot that it's a standout to me. I was more focused on the fact that a planet like this actually exists, and that Captain Marvel had visited it once before. I'm not gonna mope about it, man. I'm sure everyone on set had a blast filming it. Nick, you're If I recall correctly, neither Jeremy or Charles had seen Ms. Marvel, which is just... And Charles didn't finish Secret Invasion. Jeremy, though, makes such a good point about Nick Fury. He's reduced to comedic relief. He's not adding much to the story anymore, but he's such an important figure. I'll leave my thoughts on this for later in the video. Just keep watching. But of course he's funny, he's Samuel L. Jackson. Motherfucker! 𝙈𝙆𝘾 and Intentions. Both creators call their cheap knockoff Ronin, and I'm gonna be honest, I saw the first Guardians movie once, like in 2020 or so. That man is out of my mind. You could probably say, I don't even know her name. Fair enough. 𝙈𝙆𝘾 is a weak villain, and her motives for hating are so shitty. Now that I've shared a bit of the criticisms, I'd like to turn the tables around now to respond and answer, alongside some other notes that I gathered. What the fuck was that? Alongside... Woo! Before I begin blabbering, I am a fan of Marvel and just movies overall. Half my channel is built off of them, and I even have an oldie up there. I am an individual who liked Morbius and loved The Flash. So hear me out, please, as I speak on both sides of Marvel reception. Nick Fury's undoubtedly a funny fella in this movie. Has he always been?
No.
Motherfucker! It's been a juicy decade and a half, and his character's been through a lot. Most recently, the whole spiel in Secret Invasion. He wasn't all that funny in there. Nick Fury is getting old, man. His main focus isn't even to be grounded on the Earth anymore. He's just in space. And as you saw at the end of the Marvels, we have ourselves a new recruiter in town. Yes, in the days of our original beloved crew, things were different. But we didn't even know Fury had a home and a woman. Call me the neighbor letting Marvel destroy a character, but that's how I view Nick Fury's progression. He's just getting old and his focus has been delegated to space, so I'm alright with letting him have his fun.
No! Fury must be a tactical genius and must keep his composure secure at all times.
Alrighty then. I found the power shifting subplot pretty damn cool, especially when the whole music sequence was playing, but apparently it wasn't always in effect. Like, they didn't always switch, but the parameters seemed pretty straightforward. You trigger your abilities at the same time, and you keep your abilities active afterwards. Which tells me that you can use your ability and then have a second delay where someone else uses their own. It seems like the audience minds just got somewhere along the way. CGI was also dunked on, but I'm so blind to bad CGI sometimes. Nothing bothered me on my watch. Jeremy also made a comment that Valkyrie shows up randomly and called it a Disney cameo.
The energy is that of early 90s sitcoms. Like, hey everybody! Sorry it took me a while to get here. All the cats were filled up.
That was pretty funny, but I liked her inclusion in the movie. Why? Many times these movies like to section themselves off and pretend like no one else exists. Like when a big ass figure appears in the earth and it's just not acknowledged by... Who cares? Many times I ask myself, where is everybody else, damn it? And here, we get that. Holy shit, just somebody fucking show up in these movies, damn it. Ain't no way Spider-Man was minding his own damn business at the Hawkeye finale. Bullshit. Thanks for including Valkyrie, the Marvel's creative team. I've got a few more points to make, but let's segue into two things that I would have liked to seen differently, actually. The Skrulls. I thought we were continuing this story of finding them a home, which I guess they did have a home? Let me say, that scene where their planet gets slurped up is so freaking sad and brutal. It's been almost 30 years MCU time, and these motherfuckers still do not have a stable home. You have the ones that were planted around Earth, like in Secret Invasion, and then you have the others on that planet that got slurped up by 𝙈𝙗𝘾. Give me a break, man! These Skrulls are scattered across the solar system, and I want a proper settlement for them. My second gripe is of the little identified object that spawned on the Saber ship. These mother effing filmmakers created the illusion that it was something to be curious of. I really thought it was going to be some Infinity Stones, Dragon Ball's counterpart, or something. Something we would see over the trajectory of multiple movies. But nah. These unidentified purple brains were just cat eggs. Not some valuable artifacts to keep secure from dangers. Last but not least, the villain 𝙈𝙗𝘾. It is correct that she's not the best villain, and it's factual that, well, yeah, that. I understand the necessity of needing steaks, not the food. It was my issue with Love and Thunder. I knew those kids were gonna be saved the whole time. But with 𝙈𝙗𝘾, though there was no focus on her being this evil, villainous Grand Master, her actions were pretty fucked up. She was cracking space and time open and absorbing the environment she was in. We got to see the pruning of planets happen in real time. You gotta be fucked up if you didn't think that was disastrous. The villain could have been little Timmy, little Jimbo with a spinny hat, but his actions would have been intense regardless. As for her motive, targeting places Captain Marvel deemed precious because Captain Marvel destroyed their son is like, I don't know, it's a basic revenge plot. I'll give you that one wholeheartedly. Especially when Captain Marvel could have super blasted through it, bringing the sun back to life, avoiding the whole plot of this movie. 𝙈𝙗𝘾 does not present a strong case for being a villain, but here's my take on it. It is said that Captain Marvel could easily destroy 𝙈𝙗𝘾, but the teleportation is getting in the way. Now, can you really complain about the antagonist being weak when it's acknowledged? The individual herself is not the only threat, but the consequences of her actions. The Skrulls lost one of their homes. The planet Aladna almost lost their water. I don't know what the result of that was, and the solar system almost lost their sun. 𝙈𝙗𝘾 is not a formidable opponent, but it's not the worst thing. We are being flies on the wall as we watch how Monica, Kamala, and Carol fix their body swapping. The story being told here would eventually become a, remember that time when our powers intermingled for them? Much like the Budapest thing with Hawkeye and Black Widow, a story that we never got to see. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I personally don't care. Is it possible that a different story could have been told with higher stakes, a different villain, and a much different tone? Of course! I love Marvel and I love watching stories through the medium of film. I started this video using Jeremy and Charles as an example. Jeremy has some years on me, and Charles is the self-proclaimed monotone dude. We are all different, and we perceive art differently. Sometimes I feel like I live in a bubble because the common consensus amongst my close friend group never aligns with the internet. The internet, however, is commonplace for filth, stench, and neck bearding. I'd like to turn the conversation over now to Marvel Studios. I fairly enjoy pretty much every project you guys put out, but there are clear stinkers and clear popular winners. Guardians 3 and Quantumania both tickled my brain's happy receptors, but Guardians easily takes the cake for enjoyment. People have been voicing criticism for years and you guys do not listen. Some are recommending taking a few years off for a break, and well, Loki Season 2 was fantastic. That whole show is some of their best recent work. And you know me, personally, I say The Marvels was pretty great too. The post-credits and the ending set up the future of the franchise in a... Look, I liked it. Deadpool 3 is the only movie coming out in 2024, unfortunately. And people are busting boners over Echoes being bingeable and its rating being TVMA. What if Season 2 drops next month and that's easily gonna win over hearts? Let's try and be optimistic here. So with only one movie in the next year, and please bear with me, a string of successful streaming projects, it seems like Marvel is headed for a more positive future. We did get a Marvel break for a year and 9 months from Far From Home to WandaVision, and there were some poorly received releases in Phase 4 even after the gap which people are recommending now. Unless you want like a 3, 4, 5 year gap. Marvel, open your eyes and ears, man. Your work still entertains me, but it's not as legendary as your earlier work. You're a content creator that still has some fans, but everyone has unsubscribed. Iman Vellani is an absolute treasure, and I love the fact that she's a fangirl playing a fangirl. We need absolutely more of that because some of these actors aren't even as invested or just don't know anything about the Marvel Universe. Fist bump, girl.
It's the day after I'm editing the video, but I just want to say real quick that last night I saw the new Hunger Games movie, and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is easily my top 5 of the year. Not even the Marvel makes that cut for top 5. I understand what makes a good movie. It gripped me in a way that the Marvels doesn't. Though I view the Marvels as a really, really fun time, but the storytelling in the Hunger Games was just on a different scale that the Marvels doesn't compare to. I think the real thing that we're looking for is for Marvel to tell more captivating stories. Yes, I did love it, and it's a fun time, but it just did not have me in my seat with emotion. That's all I gotta say.
Much love to Charles and much love to Jeremy. I respect them both, but it ignites me with so much goddamn passion when I hear something that has brought me so much happiness and excitement get shit on. Seriously, that's how I get inspired and I start firing away at my keyboard to script these videos. I have the enthusiasm and the energy to turn on this camera and look out for the little guy. Sometimes the things that I love are never shown in the light that I perceive them in. So as my outro tagline goes, love what you like, my friends. Hope you enjoyed this one. Protect your energy and happy Thanksgiving.